you're new here, welcome. And if you are a returning guest, thank you guys so much for watching again this week. I just have to first and foremost say thank you guys for all the love and support on my first video. It was super intimidating sitting down in front of a camera for the first time and trying to edit and put a video together, and all the likes and the views and the love. I'm just so appreciative for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm so happy to have you. I also wanted to say I'm sorry that I say a lot, because I have an idea in my head and sometimes my mouth just moves a little bit too fast for my brain, and so then I just completely space out. And so I noticed I said it a lot in my last video, and it's something I'm trying to work on, so just bear with me a little bit. This week has been such a crazy week for me. I have been doing some work on the side to bring in just a little bit of extra money now that we have a mortgage payment, and I feel like I forgot what it's like to go to work and then come home and not have time to do anything. And so I've been trying to film this video for 500 years, it feels like. And I'm finally able to sit down and do it, and it's such a liberating feeling. I feel so productive, which is so sad, but oh yeah. So Houston is here today, and if you can hear all those kid noises, so if you hear kid noises in the background, it's because she's watching Barney and YouTube simultaneously, and she's really into those videos where kids open toys or play with Play-Doh and stuff like that, which I try really hard not to judge her, because a lot of times when I'm watching YouTube, I fall down the dark hole and I just watch any and everything. But even though I can see why these videos are entertaining to kids, they still annoy the crap out of me. So guess what? They get to annoy the crap out of you too now, because you guys get to listen to them. She'll probably run in frame a couple times, and you will get to see her a little bit later in the video. But yeah, she's at that age now where all she does is all she wants to do is watch YouTube, but then she doesn't want to listen to anything I say. So it's been really fun trying to raise a 2-year-old. I'm really losing my words here. I'm also kind of distracted because the window's open, and the window leading out to the park right in front of our house I can see, and so people keep walking by and cars keep driving by, and I find myself looking at them, and I'm getting distracted because I get distracted a lot. So today we are going to be making a personalized wood sign. It's actually so much easier than I originally thought. When I first started doing wood signs, I was so intimidated because I was how am I ever gonna get it to look like the ones that you see on Etsy or you see in stores? But it's actually super easy. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do that today, and let's get started with the tutorial. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna sand your board. For the sake of the video, I already sanded it. I just used this sanding block right here. You can buy them on Amazon, or if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or any of your hardware stores, they'll have them there. So I sanded it before I recorded just because I don't have my tripod quite yet, so I couldn't film me actually doing it. Just want to go ahead and sand it down so that way there's no wood sticking out, so you don't get any splinters or anything like that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stain the wood, so that way we can get it to a darker color and we can let it dry overnight, so that way tomorrow we can decorate it the way we want to. All right guys, so like I said, the next thing we're going to want to do is stain the wood. Right here I have my little stain set up. It's not the most professional, but it'll do. So you can either put down painters, I'm not sure what it's called, it's painters something, a painter's tarp on the floor, or what I did was I just took a normal size trash bag and I cut it in half and I opened it up. You're gonna want some rags to stain the wood with, one to wipe and one to actually put the stain on. I have 2 different stains here. This one, I'm not really sure what brand or the professional color, but it's more of a chestnut brown. And this one here is going to be a darker brown, almost gray color, which is what I'm going to be going for today. I believe the brand, here I'll walk around, is Max, and it's one of my favorites. I actually use it on a lot of the items that I sell on. All right, so I didn't mention this before, but you're going to need a screwdriver to open your stain, because when you hammer it down, you're supposed to hammer it down pretty good. And so you'll need a screwdriver to open it like this. If you see, oh, what the heck? Didn't really open it all the way, but here we go. Now it's open. You're also going to want a stir stick to stir up the stain, or what I would do is I would close it and I would shake it before. This stain is a little bit big. I'm gonna go ahead and get a stir stick to stir this up to make sure it's the proper consistency. So what I actually ended up getting was a dowel rod that I use to make layered cakes. This works pretty good for a stir stick. It's long. I won't actually touch the stain. As anybody knows, stain can stain you. Wow, that wasn't an obvious statement at all. Houston, say hi. She's not having it with me today. She can see the park from our house and that's where she wants to go, but mommy's working, so this is what we're doing. All right, so once it's stirred up, you can tell, normally at the bottom, once it settles, there's this like thick layer down there that you can feel with the stir stick. Once that's kind of like dissipated and become one with the rest of the stain, it's ready for use. All right, so in order to start staining, you're gonna take a rag. I actually grabbed a clean one that I have over here on this little keg we have. You're just gonna dip it in the stain. So you can see it's a darker color, and you're going to just wipe it directly on the board. I'm just gonna do a piece for you guys here so you can see. You may have to go over a couple layers just to get the color that you like, but what you do is you take the stain and then you grab a different rag, it doesn't have to be clean, and you just wipe it. You wipe it to get any excess stain off, and there we go. This one actually has a pretty good grain of wood. You always want to go with the grain when you're doing the stain and when you're sanding the wood, so that way the grain integrity stays intact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stain the rest of this board, and I'll show you guys when it's done. All right, so here's what the wood is looking like after the stain. I'm gonna let it sit tonight and hopefully dry, and then tomorrow I'm going to take a look at the color and see if I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and apply another layer of stain and then let it dry, and then tomorrow night I will go ahead and I will start the decorating process. So I will see you guys tomorrow and we'll see how this thing turned out. All right guys, so I have went ahead and brought the board into the house, and I'm just gonna be decorating it on my kitchen table. I didn't lay down any painter's plastic or anything like that just because I am gonna be refinishing this table, so even if I get a little bit of paint on it, it's gonna be sanded and repainted anyway, so not a big deal to me. If you're wanting to protect your table, I would go ahead and suggest laying down some plastic or something so that way you don't get anything on it. I'm going to take my measuring tape and I'm going to measure off where I want my handwriting to start and where I want it to end. So the handy thing about this tape measure, and most tape measures, is that it has this little hook on the side here so it can hold on to the edge and it'll stay firm while I'm measuring out. Oh, it's moving. You can also put this little thing down so it'll hold. I'm thinking, because this board is 64.5 inches, I'm going to start my writing maybe about 6 inches in. This will kind of give me enough space to where if I want to add anything on the sides, I can, but I think that should do it pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that off. I am using just standard blue masking tape, painter's tape. It comes off easy. It doesn't mess up the stain or the painting if you're doing painting or staining. And on Amazon, it's super cheap. I got this one in a pack of 3 and it was only like $2 or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and mask off the ends. All right, so I went ahead and I taped off my ends, and so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to figure out what exactly I'm gonna put on this, because I know I probably should have figured that out sooner, but it's gonna go, excuse the lighting, it's gonna go like right above our little window right here in the dining room. And so I'm thinking I'm gonna do our last name or something to that effect. So let me figure out what I'm gonna do and then we'll get started. So here's what I did. I just wrote a rough outline of what I'm gonna paint. You can kind of see the pencil marks. I know it's a little difficult with the stain of the wood, but if you are good at hand lettering, I definitely suggest to write it out with a pencil, or I've seen a lot of people create a stencil out of a font or something if you don't have good handwriting, which I know some of us don't, and that's perfectly okay. And you can go on and create a stencil just out of normal paper and tape it over. But I'm gonna go ahead and trace over the writing that I did. If you guys are gonna be painting your own lettering, I definitely suggest using a paintbrush that has like a thinner tip. It's just a little wispy and it just makes for easy writing. So guys, what I've got here is some cream white paint. I put it on a plate so that way it's just a little bit easier to access and kind of like brush off. If you don't like cream white, you can definitely use more of a white. I'm going to see how the cream looks, and if not, I have a more true white here. The brand I'm using is Decor Americana acrylic paint, and this is what I use in all of my hand lettering pieces. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I am going to start writing this out. So far, I have got the main part done. If you look closer, you can see that there's a little bit of parts where I messed up, but that's okay because you know what? Once it's mounted, nobody's gonna really notice anyway, and it gives it a little bit of character. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to take the markings off, and now that I'm looking at it from a distance, I mean, that looks pretty good. I wish I would have spaced out the last time a little bit, but oh well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add some embellishments here to the end, and then we'll go ahead and see the finished product. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I know that it's still a little rough around the edges as far as like my filming and my editing goes. I am working on it and I'm trying my best to make sure that I'm putting out the best videos that I possibly can, but just know that I am working to improve every single time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it useful and helpful. If you guys decide to go ahead and follow this tutorial and make your own wood sign, go ahead and tag me in a picture on Instagram or Twitter or anything that you want. I have all of my social media handles linked in my outro, so go ahead and click on those. So thank you guys for watching and we'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye!